on our path to tshuva. I told you that we've been going through some of these classes lately about a different approach when we're looking in tshuva. And this is not negating or canceling or writing over other methods of tshuva. Rather, this is another approach of tshuva, as we called it a little bit out of the box. And I took the word tshuva, we divided it into 5 letters, and we went through all the letters, how to approach it. So now we're in the last letter, letter Hey. So if you remember, we went through this through the entire week. I'm not going to repeat, so we're not going to take over our time. But the last letter, well, first of all, last class was the letter Bet. If you remember, Bet of tshuva. And we explained it as Bacharta B'chaim. You have to choose life. This is about your free choice. Now we're left with the letter Hey. And the letter Hey is corresponding to the verse that can be found in the book of Vayikra, chapter 19, verse 17. And the verse says, Hocheach tochiach et amitecha. This is again the Hey of the words of tshuva. You shall surely rebuke your fellow. Now when you're taking it on the surface, you have the obligation. It's actually a mitzvah to rebuke somebody that did a sin. You see somebody sinning, you are obligated to come to this person quietly in the beginning, not to embarrass the person out loud. Quietly tell the person, by the way, what you did here is a sin. You're not allowed to do that. Are you aware of that? You can't embarrass a person in public and scream in front of everybody, hey, what are you doing? Quietly you go to the person and says, by the way, what you're doing here is not allowed. You have to rebuke a person. This is on the surface and you have to do that. No questions here. There's no other way to approach it. You have to rebuke people. And a lot of people say, listen, I don't want to rebuke them because they're not going to accept it from me. Who cares if they're going to accept it or not? You're still obligated. Now there are sensitive situations. It's your child, it's your mother, it's your father, it's your neighbor. You don't feel so right to come and tell them. But anyways, this is not what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about something completely different. A person, when it says Hocheach tochiach et amitecha, and we really want to focus on our tshuva, it's not only to rebuke other people. That's very noble of you and very nice of you. Sometimes a person has to take responsibility of his surroundings and to feel the urge of responsibility. And some people, they choose to ignore things. In Hebrew we call it Rosh Katan, small head. They don't think out of the box. You see something, you ignore it, there's nothing to do with me. This is not a good approach. You have to think a little bit out of the box and to broaden your horizon and to seek, to initiate, how can I affect another person? Now when I became observant, all I wanted to do is to go and climb on some mountain with a goat and some lettuce in the ground and to isolate myself from the world. I said that's the best way to do tshuva. I don't have to talk to anybody, so there's not going to be a lashon hara. I will be isolated in the middle of nowhere, so I'm not going to be able to look at things that are not appropriate. And I'm going to be in my little corner with my goats and some potatoes and tomatoes, and I'll do tshuva, learn Torah all day long. But that's not how Hashem wants you to do tshuva. Hashem puts you next to people, so you can battle lashon hara and battle jealousy and anger and all this. So I need to initiate, how can I find a person to affect them in a positive way? Now, how can you do that if you live on a mountain? You can't. You need to live next to people. So when it says Hocheach tochiach et amitecha, the literal text, you have to prove another person or rebuke them when they did something wrong. End of story. But we're taking it now to the next level. What does it mean, Hocheach tochiach et amitecha? How can I make another person, how can I influence, how can I affect another person to benefit? Now if I'm seeing a person that is sitting all day long and doing nothing, a bum, and I can find some type of a colorful way or an interesting way to pull him to learn some Torah, 1 hour a day, whatever it is, maybe pay him some money, maybe bribe him with the good food, maybe bribe him with beer, I don't know what. You know, I'm saying that seriously because I used to be invited when I lived in America to a group of people, and this man on Thursday night would bring all the kids of the community. He would bring them beer and do a barbecue, and that's how he got them all there. And then I would talk there and, inspire them. So he pulled them with beer and meat. But eventually they would sit and listen to what I have to say. That's going out of your way to seek how can I affect another person for his or her benefit. So I need to ask myself, I need to do what's called cheshbon nefesh, an account. Am I changing other people's life for the best? Now this is the question you need to ask yourself, and then you of course have to come up with an answer. And if the answer is no, wrong answer. You have to initiate, how can I affect another person's life for the better? Causing them to come to the minyan. I'll pick you up. What's wrong? You don't have to come to the minyan. I'll pick you up. I'll send a taxi. Come and join us to the minyan. No, I don't want to. I'm tired. I wake up late. Come and join us. No. Don't be such a heavy person. How am I affecting another? And I'm giving you one example. I mean, you use your own imagination. But the hey of the word tshuva corresponds to hocheach tochiach et amitecha. Don't only come with a strong hand to rebuke. Hey, why are you driving on Shabbat? How can I don't want to use the word manipulate, but how can I sophistically, in a smart way, cause another person to better his life? And it's not only with Torah and mitzvot, by the way. You see a father that is very harsh on his kids, or a man that is very not nice to his wife. How can I soften him up so he will be a little bit nicer to his wife, that she will have a little bit of a nicer life? So you have to seek it. Don't wait for it to come to you. You have to seek. How can I make another person's life better? You see a child that is neglected, the parents are busy all day long. How can I make this life of the child a little bit more interesting? Maybe once a week I'll take them and teach them something or whatever. I'm just throwing out some examples. I can give you now 500 examples. The bottom line is a huge part of my tshuva is how do I go out of my comfort zone to make sure that your life is better. You have to ask yourself, how am I making another person's life better on a daily basis and as many people as possible? Why? Because I'm really giving over from my comfort zone, my time, my money, my quality time with myself or with my kids to the benefit of another person, and this is where you're taking your tshuva to a completely different level.